Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today we're going to try and mod this LCD display for the PlayStation 1. So this one here has no backlight. It's actually been removed from it completely. So this was sent in to me by Mike from 1UP Gaming Limited over on eBay, so check out his store if you're looking for anything gaming related. So it's quite a common problem on these for the backlight to fail. Originally it would have been some kind of fluorescent tube or something, some high voltage display on the back there, and I think either that goes faulty or the inverter or something goes faulty. Unfortunately it's been removed from this one, so I can't actually see what it originally looked like. But the idea is that we need to try and get this working again by installing LED lights in the back of it. Now, I'm unaware that there's any particular kits or anything that you can buy from it. I've had a look online. I haven't taken a long time to look, but I can't see any YouTube videos showing what you need to do. There's a few instructions on different forums and stuff, but there doesn't seem to be any set thing about, you know, where to take the voltage from and stuff. Some people say to use the 7.5 volts, other people say the 5 volts. So I think I'm just going to make up my own version of it, and hopefully at the end of it we can have something that's playable. Don't use this as a how-to guide. I don't know how long this is going to last. It might burn out 1 hour after I finish making the video, but it might be a little bit of fun along the way somewhere. So on this one here, you've got speakers, you've got the display, you've got brightness, and you've also got volume. So by the end of it, obviously the speakers are still going to work, the volume's still going to work, I hope, but the brightness will not work. So if I turn it on now, in certain light you can see something on the screen, but what you really need to do is shine a torch, a flashlight into it to be able to see what's happening. So you can see there that that's made the sound there, and if you have a look, let me zoom in there and you'll be able to see. There you go, so you can see that the display itself is working, but look, there's no backlight at all. So that's what we need to do, try to fit some backlights, some little LED lights behind it. The problem's going to be is that it's very, very thin. There's not much room here at all. But let's take it apart and see if we can work out what's what. So this one here is quite beat up, but it looks like there would have been a little cover over this side here. We still have the cover over this screw here. So pop that out. And also I'm missing a speaker grill. So we have 8 screws to undo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's undo all of these ones using a little Phillips, little crosshead. Right, now we need to prise it open. So out of those screws, the 2 top ones were short and all the others were long. Okay, so we just have a clip here, 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 and then the bottom just comes off. So we can put that to one side. Now we're going to undo the 4 screws here. And we've got a little ribbon cable. So for this ribbon cable, we're just going to flip up that part there. So flipping it up that way. And then we're going to gently just remove the ribbon cable from there. There's a little tab here that you can pull. Little tab there. I need to put 7.5 volts into here using the adapter, and then I need to go around the place and see where I'm going to take my voltage from. Okay, I found 2 places that I can take it from. So I've got 2 voltage regulators, and they're labelled up as KA7805R, and we have input, we have ground in the middle, which also extends up the top, and then the output here. So input is going to be 7.5 volts, which is the 7.5 volts coming in, and then output's going to be 5 volts. So if you have a look here, we've got 1 here and 1 here, and this top bit here and that middle bit is the ground. So if I was to, for example, go there or onto the middle bit, that's going to be my ground. And if I go onto this one here, this is going to be the input. So you can see 7.5 volts DC on my meter, and then output in 5 volts. Yeah, 4.9. And the same with this one over here. If I go on this side, you can see, let me go here. You can see 7.5 volts. and 5 volts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the LED power from the 5 volts, I think. So now if we have a look here, let's just unplug that. This is the screen, and originally there would have been some kind of ballast or something up here soldered onto these pins here, and then from this section here would have been wires going into this backlight here, and it would have had lights built into, I mean, I don't know what they look like because I can't find anything online, but there would have been lights built in to the back here. So somehow I'm going to have to take this apart and try to get LEDs in there. So yeah, leave that with me, and then when I worked out what I've done, I don't even know what LEDs I have around the house, but let's see if we can get something rigged up. Okay, so I'm just dismantling the screen, and it's got various little plastic little catches here, top here and here, and at the side here, and a couple at the bottom. So you just basically need to just ease the metal away from those catches. And now the metal thing comes off, and look, we have the actual display itself here. So you can see my hand through it there. So we're going to put this to one side nice and safe. And it means I can work on this one here now, like so, by just unclipping the edges. And we have various different diffusers on here. So I need to get some LED lights to shine through the edges of this. So that's what I'm going to be working on. Okay, so I've just been messing around with different LEDs in my house, just finding what I have. So I have these 240 volt lights here, and this particular one here has failed. So these are all wired in series. So I was taking the LEDs off, and then I was wiring them up in parallel, because I was thinking if I could get it down the side of it, it might light through here and give a nice light. The problem is it's incredibly fragile, and I did have them working, but then a little bit of wiggle, and then this one's come off here. I think it's just going to be, I don't think it's going to be a lasting repair. So then I started looking at these ones here. These are like the backlights that you get for TVs and mood lighting, you know, behind desks and stuff like that. So this particular one runs off a 5 volt USB power supply. The problem I've got here is that when you buy the kit, the very first row has like a controller chip on it, and that's what controls all the different colours when you have a remote control. Now these are just leftover bits here, so I can only get green, blue or red. So if I pull this one out here, if I put my 5 volts up the top and go onto the green, you will see it will light up green. This one's red, and this one down here is blue. So I'm going to struggle to get white, unless, for example, I was to maybe put different resistors between here. Maybe that would work. But I'm thinking maybe the easiest thing to do is this here. So you can see this is a nice white light here. These are just Christmas lights, outdoor ones that I've just stripped back. So again, these have failed because certain lights in here have failed, and I've got loads of them left over. Now normally the power supply for these is 3 AA batteries, which is 4.5 volts, but I don't know how they're wired up. But what I'm doing is I'm pumping 5 volts into this one here with a 120 ohm resistor. Now I'm going to leave this on for a while and see if it burns out. So what I did to begin with is I just started putting voltage into here. So for example, watch this now. This is without any resistor in it. So let me lower it right down to 1 volt, and I just want to see which is the positive. So if I get my multimeter and put it into diode test, and if I go across here, let's see which way it lights up. Okay, so this one's blue, it lights up that way, but not that way. So I know this one now is going to be my positive. So if I put the positive off here onto here, and we'll start putting bits of voltage into it. So right now that's 1 volt and it's not lighting up. Now let's go to 2 volts, it's still not lighting up. I'm just using my bench power supply. There we go. So now it starts lighting up at 2.4 volts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sacrifice this one now. I know this is a blue one, not a white one, but let's keep going up and let's see when it blows. So I'm at 3 volts. Remember, there's no resistor on here. 4 volts. Bang. Okay, so that was 4.8 volts when it went. So yeah, that's gone there now. So yeah, what I'm thinking is if I was to put a 120 ohm resistor in line with that, hopefully that will last. Let's put that back up to 5 volts. There we go. So I'm going to leave that on for quite a while and just carry on my day. And obviously if that blows after half an hour, then it's not an option. But if it lasts, then what I'm thinking is of putting maybe 4. One here, one here, one here, one here, all shining inwards. I might even see if I can get ones at the side here, because I'm not bothered about the amount of voltage that they use, because this is only ever going to be plugged in. So I suppose the more lights you have, the better it's going to be. The problem I've got is that I'm pretty sure this is going to cause spots across the screen. So we might find it's brighter here, brighter here, brighter here, and brighter here, and then dimmer in the middle. But I don't really know what else to do, because there's not a lot of room to actually allow you to fit anything in here. It's all very tight and compact. So ideally what you would need is LEDs down the side here, shining all the way across. That would be the best option. But even these ones here, which are tiny, even these don't fit in. These are still too big. So really you need somebody to make a proper modification for this and sell it. But I presume there's not enough demand worldwide for it. Anyway, I'll get back to this later. Right, while that other one's still burning bright down on the floor, I'm going to start making up the other ones now. So what I'm doing is just cutting it nice and short, and then I'm going to be putting a bit of heat shrink over this bit here. But I'm going to leave the resistor exposed. I'm just going to feel the one on the ground, see if there's any warmth in it. No, it's completely cold, so I'm sure it's going to be fine. But I'm still going to leave it exposed just in case heat does build up. So let me just cut this here. And we're going to add some hot air to that. There we go. And now what I need to do is I need to solder wires onto the other one. Again, put sleeving on to protect this bit here until it gets into the wire. Solder a wire onto here, again, protect it. And I think this might be a winner. Now those little voltage regulators, I looked up and they can handle 1 amp. I think in fact they can handle more than 1 amp. So I'm not going to be able to do the sums, but I'm pretty sure 4 or 6 LEDs is not going to be drawing anywhere near 1 amp at the voltage that this can handle. So yeah, I think it's going to be okay. I'm just unsure about the light it's going to give off. I don't think it's going to be good enough to light up the whole screen, but we'll give it a go. So this has been burning bright now for 3 hours. And there's a tiny bit of heat coming from the resistor, but I wouldn't even call it warm. So I think that's going to work just fine. So now I need to get these installed in each corner. Now I'm just looking at the placement of the LEDs, and luckily the corner of the metal is already all cut out. So all I've had to do is take out a section of the corner just from the white plastic, and then just using this as a test LED, it's already got like bits of paper to keep the light in there. So, well, not paper, but you know, like thin plastic. And then if I was to put that in the paper like so, the LEDs will fit into each corner like that. So I'm hoping that once they're in there like so, because they fit quite nicely there, that if I put black tape over that, then I'm thinking that then the light won't all leak out this way, and hopefully it will illuminate out this way. So here we have it now with the metal surround back in and the screen up the front here. So because I've cut away the plastic from the corners, you can see now each of the LEDs are mounted in the corners like that. But looks okay. Hopefully it's going to fit in the case okay. So what I'm going to do now is put a little bit of black insulation tape just on each of the corners here, and then hopefully that will seal up the bits around here. Okay, I went for duct tape instead, and it's done a real nice job of the corners there. So what I'm now going to do is I have to wire these up in parallel. So all the reds are going to be together and all the blacks are going to be together, and then I have to solder them onto the voltage regulator. Then it's going to be turn on time and see what happens. Okay, so I'm nearly done now. I've just got to solder up these 2 wires here. So you can see the screen here with the LEDs in the corner with the resistors coming out. You can see how tight it all is. So I've had to bend them round to the same shape as the cover. So we've got the wires going up here to here, all the 4 red wires joined and soldered together, and all the 4 black wires joined and soldered together. Now I need to take a red wire from here and a black wire from here to the voltage regulator at the front here. So I've run the two cables, slightly thicker on these cables here, and I'm going to the output of that voltage regulator, so that's going to be 5 volts here, and then I've taken the ground from here. Obviously I can take the ground from elsewhere, but I'm just running both wires to the same place here. So now what I have to do is screw this down here, and then, well, just before I screw it down, I have to get these wires onto these connections here. Now I'm leaving quite a lot of slack on here, because then in the future, if this needs to come off, you won't have to rip all the wires off. You'll be able to lift it quite a bit of the way to see what's going on. So yeah, just need to solder them on and then screw this down, and then we can test it. Okay, so that's all it wired up now, and I've put the excess in here. So we just need to put this back in, this ribbon cable. So the flap is lifted up. Right, that goes in there and down again, so hopefully that's okay. Now I'm not going to put it fully back together yet, because I want to see if it works, and not just that, I don't know whether this is going to be on all the time or not, because we only want this to come on when we actually turn the PlayStation on. Yeah, see, look, I've got the lights on now. That's no good. I don't want the lights on now. I only want them on when it actually comes on. I mean, it's not the end of the world, you can just unplug it, but let's see if this regulator down here is on all the time. Yes, it is. So when it's on standby, it's going to be on all the time, isn't it? I wonder if I can take it from any capacitor, maybe. Well, I think I got lucky. So if you have a look now, you see this big capacitor here. Well, if I go to ground and here, at the moment it's off. You can see the LEDs are on though. You can see they're bright down here because I'm on here. But look, if I go to here now, can you see it's not reading anything? And now if I turn it on, can you see it jumps up to 4.9 volts? Yep. So watch this. 4.9 and turn off. Nothing. So I'm going to run the positive to that side of the... I might as well leave the negative, the ground there, but I'm going to run the positive to that side of the capacitor. So there we have it. You can see it's on that side of the capacitor there. Now this might cause issue with the circuit that's on. Maybe the audio now is not going to work properly, or it might have some other issues. I don't know where to run it from, but I can't have it where it's on all the time. So at least with this one, it switches on and off when we turn it on and off here. I'll only know after long-term use whether it's suitable to put it onto there or not. But look, I might be lucky and it might work fine on that one there. So I now need to clip the lid back on, give everything a clean, and then we'll give it the final test. So here we have it all back together, and it cleaned up real nice. Just needs a couple of speaker grills and then it would be in okay condition. I'm happy with how it came apart and went back together. I just wish that it was about 30 or 40% brighter to make those colours really pop. But maybe I'm just spoilt by looking at screens nowadays. It definitely is completely playable, and before it wasn't. So if you have a look there now, you can see it. I'm just messing around with Arcade's greatest hits, and I'm playing a bit of Marble Madness. So let's zoom right the way in, and you will see that the screen is okay. Now you can see tiny bright spots just in the corner, but not too bad. Can you see these ones here? From certain angles you can see it more than others. There you go, you can see them there now. But it is, it's okay. So the objective of this is, for those that don't know, you have to just basically get to the finish line at the bottom. I'm pretty sure I had this on the Spectrum 48K years ago. The screen itself, apart from the brightness, is actually quite a nice screen. So watch this now. So you've got to make your way down to the bottom. Volume and everything's working. Obviously brightness is not doing anything. Now I looked online and Ben Heck has done a write-up on this. And there is a capacitor that you can bridge, that you can basically just short, that is supposed to affect the brightness. But I've done that, and well, I've tried doing it, and it didn't make any difference. So on my one, I've just left it as it is. But there you go, that's that one. Let's do this next one here. This will be slightly harder. Oh, whoops. This one's out to get me. I'll just complete this one, then I'll call it a day. What makes it hard is the marble keeps on rolling, you see, so you have to keep going the opposite way. Oh no, and I was so close to the goal as well. Let's see if I can do it now. No! I have to end the video on a success. There we go. And that's it. Fantastic. So massive thumbs up to Mike for sending this out to me. And yeah, interesting to look at. I wouldn't mind looking at another one in the future which has everything already in it, and then see if a fault can be repaired without having to do the mods, you know, like keeping it original. But that is it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Take care, everyone.